democratic consolidation in Pakistan, issues, challenges, and way forward. They have really started with a new journey, I would say. They have created new ways of thought for the students, and if you want to compete in the world, the only way forward where you have written, that is explore the knowledge and think and doubt everything once in life. So now, coming to the topic, the moderator has used the word to be brief. I will try to be brief, but it is my structure.
Sir, exceptions can be made, sir.
The rule of law forms the core of civilized democratic society. It is fundamental to political stability, social progress, and supremacy of the law are ever high on the agendas and manifestos of political parties, and considered to be one of the most essentials of good governance. On this touchstone, good governance is being measured. Before speaking on the main concept, I would like to touch the origin. The origin of the rule of law theory can be traced back to the ancient Romans during the formation of the First Republic. For many centuries, it has been recognized that possession by the state of coercive power that may be used to oppress individuals present a fundamental problem both for legal and political theory. The nations of the state also suffer from this fundamental problem. Since the days of the Greek philosophers, there has been recourse to the notion of law as a primary means of subjecting governmental power to control. Aristotle argued that government by laws, what he argued? That government by laws was superior to government by men. It has been since championed by several medieval thinkers in Europe, such as Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, through the social contract theories. Indian philosophers such as Chanakya have also espoused the rule of law theory in their own way by maintaining that the king should be governed by the word of law. The concept of rule of law is that the state is governed not by the ruler or nominated representative of the people, but by the law. The expression rule of law has been derived from the French phrase law principale de légalité, that is a government based on the principles of law. Again, reverting back to Aristotle's book, Politics, wherein the great Greek philosopher poses the question, what is better, the rule of law or rule of an individual? And he responds saying, to invest law then with authority is, it seems, to invest God and reason only. To invest a man is to introduce a beast, as desire is something bestial. And even the best of men in authority are liable to be corrupted by passion. We may conclude that the law is reason without passion, and it is therefore preferable to any individual. It has been defined by several authors. Edward Koch, rule of law means, according to him, absence of arbitrary power on the part of government. No man is punishable or can be made to suffer in body or good except for a distinct breach of law, established in the ordinary legal manner before the ordinary courts of the land. Another celebrated writer, A.V. Dicey, is of the opinion, he has defined it, the rule of law means the absolute supremacy or predominance of the regular law as opposed to the influence of arbitrary power, and excludes the existence of arbitrariness or even of wide discretionary authority on the part of the government. Now, one of the most important landmark statutes that is Magna Carta 1215. In this context, the wordings of Magna Carta are: no free man shall be seized, imprisoned, dispossessed, outlawed, exiled, or ruined in any way, nor in any way proceeded against except by the lawful judgment of peers and the law of the land. With this, the divine right of the king vanished. To no one will we sell, to no one will we deny or delay right or justice, is considered as a significant watershed where rule of law is clearly recognizable in embryo. Of course, Magna Carta was an event that changed the constitutional landscape of the UK and has great impact over time on the world at large. These concepts provided in early history have been developed, evolved, and enriched. They are now part of the constitutions of all civilized nations. Rule of law as a concept is at the center of any judicial system, without which no society can think of justice today. In ordinary parlance, it means all citizens are equal before the law and under its equal protection, and that state functionaries and citizens must act in line with the law. US judges have interpreted and developed the concept in this context. Justice Scalia in Morrison versus Osland mentioned that it appears what is called rule of law in the UK is the proud boast of our democracy that we have a government of laws, not of men. This was also echoed in Continental Conference that in America, law is king. For absolute government, the king is law. So in free countries, the law ought to be the king and there ought to be no other. But lest any ill should afterwards arise, let the crown at the conclusion of the ceremony be demolished, scattered among the people whose right it is. In Pakistan, the rule of law has recently been elucidated in a judgment in the Constitution Petition 39 of 2019, authored by Justice Asif Saeed Khosa, a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. To the fundamental question, is our government of laws or of men? The Honorable Judge remarks, I understand that democratic maturity of our nation has reached a stage where this court can proclaim, as declared by Chief Justice Sir Edward Coke of England in commended case in the year 1616 regarding the powers of King James, however high you may be, the law is above you. In the 1973 Constitution of Pakistan, it also underscores the notion of the rule of law. In other words, the rule of law is the bedrock of our Constitution. The essence of the rule of law is embodied in Article 4 and 5 of the Constitution, which emphasizes the right of individual to be treated in accordance with law and loyalty to the state, and obedience to the law and the Constitution. In other words, all functions of the state, according to Article 4 of the Constitution of Pakistan, derive their authority from certain law. So they have to act in accordance with law. Upon analyzing the situation on the ground and in history, one can safely say that the reality does not match the rhetoric. The bitter truth is that we have scant respect for the Constitution and the rules of business framed thereunder. The supreme law of the land, the Constitution, has been abrogated, suspended, and held in abeyance repeatedly. Judiciary, the guardian of the Constitution, has been manipulated to get desired result. Elections have been engineered. Citizens are deprived of liberty without due process of law. Residential structures, recently when rains, floods, even in the capital Islamabad. In the federal capital, which resulted in urban flooding there during recent rain in sheer disregard to the master plan and irrigation laws. Postings and appointments in violation of Civil Servant Act and schedules attached thereto are orders of the day. The rule of law as a cardinal principle of the Constitution is the main ingredient of the good governance. This cannot be ensured by mere lip service, but practically working within the orbit of Constitution with no extra constitutional role to any functionary of the state. Laws, according to the Supreme Court Justice Mansoor Ali Shah, laws in a democracy under our constitutional framework must protect protect and preserve equality, tolerance, life, liberty, privacy, dignity, and freedoms of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worships. Laws represents the morality of a nation, aspiration of its people, and not the fiat of the few. Rule of law is at its finest when people are rule of law is at its finest when people are at its center and structured on a right-based model. Rule of law at the operational level has to be achieved. Rule of law, one is in the theory, and at the operational level, it has to be achieved and implemented, which is actualized through the medium of institutions and their officers. Moreover, judiciary is the important linchpin of rule of law, and through the instrument of judicial review and access to justice, rule of law is enforced in this context. The Supreme Court of Pakistan is the guardian of the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. When all is said and done, mere written phrases are not enough. Rule of law needs sound political conventions and will of the people. This can be aspiration of many, but rarely achieved. Being a priceless end product, it can neither be bought nor sold. As a concept, this has to be earned. It is not for those who take it for granted. People's will organize into political parties, civil society organizations, press and electronic media and social media, and I will also include the universities, are imperative. And here I will quote Faiz, ये आरज़ू भी बड़ी चीज़ है मगर हमदम, ये आरज़ू भी बड़ी चीज़ है मगर हमदम, विसाल यार फ़कत आरज़ू की बात है. You have to. So, to sum up, rule of law is essential for a just society. With rule of law, there is order, and without rule of law, there is disorder. Thank you.
So I have a question, if you allow me. So yes, exactly. were